Hi everyone. First of all, for sure, welcome to this podcast. I'm Eduardo, and I'm here to talk about the way of make business. To talk about how the economies are moving nowadays, and just talk about how I think the future of our world is going on. How a Mexican that I am, and with a dream of have a company that could export products or services to another countries. I know that most of the time when we think of make business with another economies, we think in the US, and I mean, this is not bad, but I think that it's time to think in another alternative. I mean, we have a lot of countries in this world, a lot of countries of what we have agreements when we have the facilities to make business with them, but we are not making nothing new. So that's why I'm here, and that's why I want to talk about a region that it's growing up really fast, that it is very important of how the economy is moving on nowadays. And this region that I want to talk about is Asia Pacific. The transformation that this region has been driven, it's thanks of economic and political trends that are redefining the global balance of the power in the whole world. I know that when we think or we hear Asia Pacific, the first thing that comes to our mind, it's probably China, Japan, or South Korea, that they're really important in the region. But the fact is that this region is much larger than these three countries, and I think it is important to you to let you to know what these other countries are and how big these economies are. Just like a fact, by 2030, Asia will account for about 60% of global economic growth. Yes, you hear right, 60%. This sounds crazy, but it's a reality. And it's a reality that not all the people know, and not all the people are talking about. But do you know? You know this, and I think it's an opportunity to make business with this country. Whatever country you choose of these regions, it's a great opportunity to you to let your company grow. First, I think it's important to talk about the boom in the emerging economies. This region have countries such as Vietnam, Indonesia, or the Philippines that are recording impressive growth rates. For example, Vietnam is becoming a giant high-tech manufacturing. Companies around the world are moving their operations to the Southeast Asia, seeking to diversify their supply chains. This is partly due to trade tensions between the US and China, which bring us to this second point that I want to talk about, that it is the rethinking of the global supply chains. This rethinking of the global supply chains are benefiting these countries and others like Vietnam and Thailand too, because the pandemic and the trade conflicts in general have forced many companies to move some of their productions outside China. And obviously, this is benefiting these countries that offer competitive costs and stability to these companies, resulting in the growth of the economies already mentioned. On the other hand, we have countries like Singapore, Vietnam, or Malaysia, Indonesia. I don't know, they have a lot of countries that are in strategic locations, controlling key trade routes such as the Strait of Malacca. It's one of the most important routes in the world. And in general, this is something that we could really take advantage of, since our country has treaties and trade agreements with countries of this region. Do not forget that we have the CPTPP that, yes, could sound funny, but these agreements remove trade barriers between our country and a lot of countries of these regions, opening up new markets and connecting the Asia Pacific region with our country. So let's talk about the opportunities for Mexico, because we have a lot of opportunities. We make a lot of things, a lot of products, a lot of services that it is not making in other countries. Just the Mexicans know how to do it. We have the know-how of a lot of things that the countries of these regions want. And just to mention, we have like 2 years negotiating with South Korea to have a free trade agreement. And this free trade agreement, it's not signing, not because South Korea don't want it. It's because Mexico don't do it, and I don't know why they don't do it. They have their reasons, they have their thinkings, but what they say is that Asia wants to make business with us. So if the government don't want to show you these things, I want it, and I want that our country is known in all the world. So let's talk about first in the agri-food sector. There is a huge potential. Consumers in Asia Pacific demand high quality products, and Mexico has an incredible supply of products like avocados, tequila, beef, berries, products that are already succeeding in markets such as Japan and China. But I know that can be exploited more in other countries. So if you already exported whatever agri-food you export, no, just think in US, not just think in China, not just think in Japan, just think in Vietnam, Thailand, Indonesia, I don't know. There is a lot of countries where you can make business. So let's think, let's read, and you can make a lot of money. Another area with a great potential is the manufacturing. Mexico has a strong industry in sectors such as automotive, electronics, and aerospace. Mexican companies can work with Asian companies to diversify and strengthen supply chains, especially now that many companies are looking to set up factories outside of China. And we are looking here in Mexico how a lot of Asian companies coming to our country, and it's a good news because that's another way to see how the Asians wants to make business with us. Why the government don't reinforce that? I don't know, but I don't want to talk about politics. And we can forget about technology. Digitalization in the Asia Pacific, it's growing rapidly. If we think about technology, obviously we are going to think in Asia. So countries like Malaysia and Singapore are investing heavily in fintech and e-commerce, creating a perfect scenario for Mexican technology companies to expand into new markets. So what I want to say is that there is a lot of opportunities outside. Just look for it. Rethinking. Don't think in the same way that all the Mexican thinks. Don't think in the same way that your parents or your grandparents do it. Think in a new way, because we are a new generation and we have to make a new business. Open new doors with new countries, with new markets. So don't scurry, just do it. And I think that is time to end with the episode. I had a great time with you all, and thank you for listening to this episode. And if you like it, don't forget to share with the others. Thank you. See you. Bye bye.